Welcome back to the UAE careers community, everybody. I'm so excited to be bringing Hassan Benguejid to our platform this month. Hassan is the HR manager of Moorfields Eye Hospital here in Dubai, and he's going to be talking to us about some of the things he looks for in new candidates and some of the tips that he can offer educators, career practitioners, or even potentially anyone thinking about applying to a hospital such as Moorfields. He will be giving us those insights into how we can be preparing the youth and some of the things that recruiters and HR managers and directors are looking for in the interview process. Welcome, Hassan. Thank you for joining us this month.
Thank you so much, Maria. It's a pleasure being with you, and pleasure is mine. Thank you.
So I know we want to begin with learning a little more about the hospital.
Okay, Maria. So let's start with a quick overview of Moorfields Eye Hospital, who we are, where do we come from. So when I'm talking about Moorfields Eye Hospital, you are talking about a legacy, if I may use the word, of 200 years of experience, expertise, and continuous research. Moorfields started 200 years back in London. And now when we are talking about Moorfields, if we have British colleagues or people in here, they will understand what I'm talking about. It's no more one site, it's a network of or satellite clinics all over London. It's a total of 32 clinics. It's part, of course, of the NHS, which is the National Health Services in the UK, and one of the largest institutes that make ophthalmology, if I would say so. I'm not boasting. We respect all the other institutes who does great job in the world, but Moorfields is one of the greatest when it comes to ophthalmology. Back in 2007, Moorfields Eye Hospital Dubai was the first overseas branch ever of Moorfields Eye Hospital. 2015, we opened our branch in Abu Dhabi as well. And that was bringing the whole expertise from Moorfields UK, Moorfields London, the 200 years of experience to here. Of course, we brought all the expertise, we brought all the subspecialties of ophthalmology, and of course, the best quality of care in ophthalmology that we have. Plus, certain services that they were not available in the UAE, like the orthoptist services, and those were brought to UAE by Moorfields Eye Hospital Dubai, and now they are available in Abu Dhabi as well. Okay. This is an important slide, and I try to focus more on the clinical aspects and parts of it, because when we are in a hospital, of course, the majority or the most important part is the clinical team. And when patients come to the hospital, they are seeking medical advice or medical consultations. And the first and biggest group is our ophthalmologists. We have 15 ophthalmologists plus. When we say ophthalmologist, we have subspecialties that I'm going to go through in the next slide, inshallah. So allied health or support or clinical support staff, we call them allied health. We have a group of orthoptists, nurses, pharmacists, and optometrists, a total of 30 plus. And the other support staff will be HR, like myself, finance, business development, marketing, revenue cycle department, receptions, call center. So this all go under the category of support staff. Okay. Our vision and mission. So I brought this slide in here on a purpose. So Moorfields Eye Hospital aims to be the best eye hospital. And how? As you could see, it's two parts. I'm not going to go through it by word, but I want to explain two parts in here. So that our vision constitutes of two parts. First part is being the best eye hospital in the world, providing the best possible care. And the other part, which is relevant a lot to students who are interested in graduating, is being part of the research and education community. We take from the community, so we have to be part and we have to be giving back to the community. These are our enablers, and how do we intend to reach our vision and mission? Again, so these are the points: to operate the highest clinical standards, benchmarking with Moorfields Eye Hospital London, of course, providing the most comprehensive. This is in terms of providing the widest range of ophthalmology services under one roof, and of course, develop the world-class research working in conjunction with local authorities and partners in UAE. The last part, again, is much more related to our topic today. So attract and retain. You cannot reach your vision or mission without having the manpower, without having the right people in the right place. So it's not a statement put in top of website of the hospital. It's how to reach it, how to make it a reality. And of course, it's our employees, it's you students who might be our employees in the future, inshallah, who are supposed to translate this vision to our reality. And we do that by attracting and retaining highly qualified and experienced eye doctors in UAE and from the world, as well as other vital clinical and clerical. The hospital recognizes the value of contribution that each member of staff brings in order to help maintain our success as a leading eye specialist in the UAE. So it is all about manpower and the way we choose our manpower, and we'll come to discuss that point as well. Okay, these are our values. I did not elaborate much on the values, but this is these are the main points that we look for when we are interviewing as well. So that's the values we want to deliver to our patients, and of course our employees need to embrace these values: being professional, being friendly, helpful, safe, calm, and have a positive attitude and flexibility. Okay. In this slide, just to give you an idea about when we say we provide a comprehensive range of ophthalmology, I can proudly say that Moorfields Eye Hospital Dubai is the one and only roof in the whole UAE under which you will find this range, this total range of ophthalmology services. When we say ophthalmology, most people understand it's a doctor that deals with eye conditions. But what not most of the people know is under ophthalmology, there are a lot of subspecialties, as you could see in here. So it's difficult to go through the explanation of each one of them, but as you could see, these are the titles. We are talking about 11 subspecialties and more. And all of them are available. Some of them are resident doctors available all the time. Some of them we don't need to have a doctor here all the time, but whenever there is a need, a doctor can fly from London to come and see the patient that he needs. Okay. Thank you so much. Contact details if anyone wants to get in touch. And of course, I'm sure Maria will be providing you with my contact details as well if you have any inquiries further to this interview today, inshallah.
Thank you, Hassan.
Back to you, Maria.
I know that I have quite a few questions that I can ask, but before I do, is there anything, Mary and Daniel, that you would like to jump in and ask ahead of me?
So, Hassan, since this is an eye hospital, is there a place where students who are studying in the UAE could go to get the medical education necessary to be able to join Moorfield?
Yes. Do you mean being part or having their internships at Moorfields Hospital, or to join Moorfields as employees?
Well, where would they get the education in ophthalmology? Is there any university in the UAE that provides that, or would they need to go overseas in order to get that and then come back to work at Moorfields?
In UAE, we have a partnership with the MBRU, Mohammed bin Rashid Medical University, and we already have students coming in to have their internships, and that's something I can recommend. Other universities, most of the students that we receive, or the internal or the interested students who wanted to continue, have their studies overseas. Okay. Hoping in the future more are interested in ophthalmology and more institutes are including the ophthalmology programs in their curriculum.
Okay. For students who are not looking to be ophthalmologists but would like to work at Moorfields, are there certain courses that they should take, maybe like biology or something like that, in order to be able to be more effective working in your organization since they already have some background knowledge in a related field?
The answer to that will be a wide range depending on what they are interested, what is the job title they are applying for. So if we go towards the ophthalmology, and let's start with consultants if they are applying as a consultants. What I would like students, and this applies for all the medical titles, there is an aspect of licensing. So to start working with us under any licensed category, be it an ophthalmologist, be it a nurse, optometrist, or a nurse, you need first to obtain a license. And all the authorities that we have in the country, starting from our Free Zone Dubai Healthcare City, DHA, DOH, or the Ministry of Health, there is a set of unified qualifications, standard required qualifications. To obtain your license to practice, you need to complete a certain set of requirements. Part of it is education, the other part is initial experience as well. And this is what all students who have future plans to work either in UAE or another country, they must look at that well in advance. You cannot, for instance, plan to work under a medical category in UAE while you are not aware of the licensing requirements in UAE until the last moment, and you find out that you have been spending 2 years or 3 years in the wrong path. I understand that this is difficult at times, but at least we should be a bit proactive. We look at that and we ask those questions, and all the answers are provided. Going back to what is required, ophthalmology, for instance. Yes, you need to meet the requirements. You need to have a certain degree of it, but there is no specific subject that you need to cover. When you sign up for ophthalmology, you need to cover all the basic parts. What remains is the subspecialty afterwards. This is part of your choice, whether you want to be a glaucoma specialist, you want to be a pediatric ophthalmologist, that comes afterwards. As a basic, you need to fulfill all the minimum requirements for an ophthalmologist.
Great. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, Daniel. Okay.
Hassan, obviously it's, you know, ophthalmology is hugely specialized. It's hugely, you know, specialist qualification on top of medicine. Where does most of your employees achieve this qualification? In the UK or in the US?
We are a UK-based hospital, so based on that, most of our consultants, for instance, are UK-trained consultants, and we have standards that most of the trainings are matching with the UK graduations and UK trainings. However, we have employees from all over the world. We have US trained, we have Asian countries trained, and then they have in equivalencies. And I would say from all over the world. When we are hiring, we don't focus on you need to have a certain graduation from this country or another, rather than the institute itself and the kind of internship or the program that you have been enrolled to. I would say that the majority is UK and US and some European countries. However, there is a wide variety of reputable institutes all over the world that provide a high quality care. So the answer to that is majority is UK and US, but other countries as well apply. Okay.
And in the UK, Moorfields is a teaching hospital in the UK.
Yes, it is. Okay. In UK, Moorfields has an association or partnership with UCL, University College London, and I would like to bring to attention of the audience that more than half of all UK ophthalmologists have had their training at Moorfields Eye Hospital, and we are, of course, proud of this. Okay.
Thank you so much. Hassan, going back to one of the things you discussed in your presentation, the values of Moorfields, and you iterated that it's important that employees know them and act them and do them and live them at the organization. Thinking about an interview and helping the youth prepare for those interviews, would you say that the values of Moorfields would trickle into the interview? And if so, how can we prepare them for questions that are related to either the mission statement or the values of the organization?
Thank you, Maria. This is a very important question, and I would really like that the audience, students who will start doing their interviews, pay attention to. how does an interview start? It starts with a job post that you come across, you apply for, and then there will be a process at the end of, or the other side of the application. So that process first will be HR department going through the applicants and doing an initial selection, okay? Looking looking at your CVs, looking what the information you put at your CVs, and this is another important point we might discuss later. So the initial selection happens, and then you receive a call. So, Mr. X, you are selected to come for the interview. Now you know it, you have a date, and you have your appointment for it. What all employees needs to do, or all candidates needs to do, is just do a little homework about that organization that is calling you for an interview. This is very important. Each and every organization have a website where they post, and Moorfields is of course one of them, where we post our vision, mission, and values in there. And a very important part of that little homework preparing for the interview is looking at those. How will that help a candidate coming for an interview? They will be knowing at least 50% of what I'm looking for. Because when I look at a nurse, for example, yes, there are the technical skills for the position, and there is the culture and the team fitment for the whole organization. All of that is already set to you on the website, publicly published to everyone to know. It's not a secret. The HR department do not have like secret agenda. It is published. So whatever is an organization looking for is to achieve. And as I said, and intentionally put that in the presentation, one of the ways to achieve our vision and mission is through the manpower, through people. So these are my values. This is my vision and mission. So you need to understand it. And sometimes it's really sad that some very good candidates, and it's bad for the HR department to miss the good candidates as well. Why? Because they don't demonstrate what they have really at the interview. And it is a short time conversation. If you really do not give the HR department what they need to see in you, you will be missing a chance. It's not only you missing a chance, it's us as organization missing you as a good candidate as well. So it's a two-side loss in here, and I would like candidates to understand this. Going back to the little homework, you understand my values, you understand my vision and mission, and what I want you to do for me when you join Moorfields. This is very important. How to answer the question, or what kind of question HR department will be asking to check whether a person is friendly or is professional, for example, looking at Moorfields. Most of the time, there is no direct question like, are you friendly? Are you a problem solver? It does not come this way. So there are usually scenarios. Different HR departments have different styles of interviews and questions. And that's also important to go through and understand at least the basics. And you try to be genuine. You try to have a kind of a conversation with yourself and try to understand what does it mean yourself to be friendly. Many people, of course, have a lot of problem solving, even at university, have been part of projects, have been leading a team of 4 colleagues or 5 colleagues. This is, again, a transferable skill that we'll come to. And sometimes they might struggle because they think, I have never been a leader anywhere, so how can I answer this question? No, you can. Try to think about it, try to link it to what you have been doing, and an HR interviewer will never expect you to talk about something you haven't been through. So link it to your initial experience. It can be a life experience where you have solved a problem, even at home, even a very minimal issue. But you need to demonstrate. You need to demonstrate what you have from what I'm looking for. And of course, you will not know it if you don't do that little homework. You don't even go to that little website and look at those values and look at that vision and mission.
Thank you, Hassan. That's a great outlook. That's something that we need to be preparing the youth, is they, like you said, do the homework on the organization, but to know what they're looking for as well. And I like how you said, by coming to the interview prepared, knowing the vision and the mission statement, they're 50% prepared for the questions that you will probably be asking them. And I remember in speaking to a recruiter for Nestle not too long ago, she was saying that very often in interviews, candidates talk a lot, but they don't demonstrate with the experiences that they've had. Would you say that you find this as well when you're doing interviews with candidates, that they talk a lot about what they think you want to hear, but they don't have any concrete experience to demonstrate?
Yes, Maria, that happens. And let me tell you to whom that happens. It happens to the kind of candidates who go look for templates for HR interviews, conversations, and you feel that they are like, they have ready-made answers. And that's what leads them to making that mistake. And again, I focused a lot on this in the last interview, and I will do it again. During an interview, be genuine. Each human being has virtues and has values, and you have a lot of good points in yourself. So be yourself, be genuine, and that will show. Let's say I asked you a question about something that you did not even think about it. So you can demonstrate that instead of just assuming that I'm asking or I want to hear something. It is very acceptable during interviews to ask for clarifications, to ask the interviewer. This doesn't show that you don't understand a lot of things, especially when you are a fresh graduate. We expect you not to be exposed to a lot. This is very normal. And in the other side, it will show that you are an engaged person, you are a sincere person and responsible that does not really want to be talking about something that they don't understand even. And this is dangerous at workplace. I'm sure all of you would agree with me in this. So that's what it means. Get clarifications, make sure your understanding is aligned with the intention of the person asked you the question, and be genuine. Talk about what you know about that aspect or that point you have been asked.
Thank you, Hassan. I know that your approach in HR is what you described, the humanistic theory. Can you talk to us a little more about what that means and how we can prepare our students and the youth for a humanistic approach to interviewing?
Okay, so that's a point that I will lead you back to our vision and mission. So just in part of our vision, so we want to be the best eye hospital, providing the best care in the finest hospital. And why? Through dealing with patients as individuals. That's who is going to deal with my patients as individuals. It's my employees. And how would I expect them to deal with my patients as individuals, not like file numbers? I have first to treat them the same way. It's not fair, it's not logical, and does not make sense to have a culture of a military school at workplace while you expect your employees to deal with your patients as individuals and treat their personal needs, not like file numbers. This is the basis. If you look for the humanistic approach, you will have many different definitions of the same. This is our definitions of it. We approach our employees as individuals. Everyone, it's not a department that all the people should have the same needs and should have the same motivators and satisfaction points. No, it's one by one. We do the same while we are interviewing as well. Yes, I have a set criteria that all the candidates needs to meet. However, there is a percentage. I cannot say it's a 20% or a 30%. Let's say that there is a percentage of personalization. That percentage, I can select two candidates for the same position if I have two vacancies. You would see that these two people are two different people. No problem with that, as long as they have the minimum that I want to perform that job, and I would approach why that will help me get the virtues, the personal virtues and skills of that person, and then the other. This will help enrich the diversity within the organization. Everyone coming from a different culture will bring their values and their work ethics to the place. And most importantly, we enforce a culture where people have a margin of bringing their personal touch to work, as long as they stick to the minimum requirements and standards. We are a healthcare provider. Of course, people cannot improvise in certain areas, but there is the customer service area. There is the personal touch between you and the patient. We don't focus much on make it a standardized robotic approach. We would like people to bring their own personal touch to add to what we already have.
Thank you, Hassan. And one more question that's kind of outside the box, but definitely something that has an impact, I'm sure, in an interview. How do they dress for an interview? And this is something young people don't know, they don't understand. They're actually not used to it either, especially through secondary education, where most private institutions and some public will enforce school uniforms. So at no stage during their education are they taught how to dress. And then they get to university, and of course they're very relaxed in how they dress, going to lectures. And then they're expected to come to an interview and they don't know what to wear. What do you look for when you're looking at physical appearance and presentation in an interview?
This is important, Maria, as well. And then, as I said, the trick, and I'm trying to show tricks and reveal tricks of the HR. Maybe my colleagues at the HR department will just blacklist me in here. Okay. And I would like to highlight a point. MashaAllah, our students nowadays are too much smart. They are great. So whenever I had a conversation or a meeting with any of them, I really liked the level of education and then how smart, how exposed to information they are. And I like this. And I'm sure if they just did, they just stopped a little minute and thought about it, they will find the answers themselves. But let me give you a clue. It's simply, you need to be dressed in something that shows that you are interested and show respect to the place where you are going. This is one point. The other point is considering the culture of the place where you are going to. So these are the two main points. Cultural restrictions, cultural differences, I think this is available. Even someone who is new to our country or doesn't understand it, can do a little research about it, and this is very important. So what is acceptable, what is not acceptable from a cultural point of view. If we go back to the style, so when we say, for instance, a Muslim lady can be covered to a certain extent, for instance, that's cultural, but what the person is dressing, that's different. Here, the point of interest, the point of respect, you think of it of your personal life. You are going to an important event in your family, or you are going to meet someone important in your environment. You try to dress not the best. The best cannot be really fitting what you are going for, but something that fits that situation. I don't like to go to details and say a suit and a formal suit and shoes for men and an office dress for ladies. I've interviewed people who came with a dress for a certain position that I would definitely not accept for another position. Someone who is coming for a nurse interview. I normally accept them and have no problem with a smart casual. That should be fine. Why? Because at their workplace, this is not one of their virtues. They will be on a uniform. They are not supposed to have that skill or to show me how good they can or how much they understand in being in a good outfit. And that's absolutely fine. No issue with that. They are not exposed to be in public speakings or in contact with patients while they are out of their work uniform. This is one point. The other point is, think of a position like marketing position, for instance, or a business development, or someone who will be representing the hospital with third parties. And that's the whole picture of the hospital. Would I accept these people to come to the interview in a smart casual? It will be a minus for them. It will not be a plus. Of course, I will interview anyone. I might check on it. I might even ask what's your background coming to interview, not in a full, and I will check on that point. But it will be a plus for the person who will come 100% representable, come in a tight suit and a very representable, showing me part of how he will go to meetings if he gets the job that I will give him, for instance. That's the concept. That's the rationale behind the uniform or how you dress for an interview. There is no specific right or wrong or a set. And now with information, let's use the tool. Let's use all the resources available to us. There are applications, for instance, even people who doesn't have that much experience with outfits, you download an application, it will give you a great outfit, and I'm sure if you go back to your drawer, you will have all the pieces you need, and then here we go. It's not something that's very difficult.
Thank you, Hassan. That's really great. I could keep asking you so many questions. I see Karishni is also with us today. Karishni, Daniel, Mary, is there anything else that you'd like to ask?
No, Maria, I think this has been an amazing session. All the questions have been answered. But if there might be, is there any way where we can contact him, or like have an email or something where we can ask questions after the session?
Yes, definitely. When Hassan went through his presentation, his contact details were there. And of course, I'll be able to share those with you as well. Hassan, I want to take the opportunity to kind of show off what we have coming up with Moorfields Eye Hospital, if I can.
Please.
So on on the 8th of December, we're going to have Hassan and his team. There's going to be 5 members of the hospital. We're going to be doing a live session and interviewing all 5 candidates, from the medical director to the education manager to the nurse manager. We have marketing director and Hassan as well joining us. And we're going to be talking about all things the hospital according to these different departments. So Hassan, why does Moorfields Eye Hospital find it important to be not only in the community, but also educating the youth for employment in a hospital such as theirs?
It is simply a legacy of Moorfields and what brought Moorfields to the position where you are. So as we said, when we came here, we brought that heritage of Moorfields Eye Hospital back from UK. And that's what made Moorfields back in UK the Moorfields that we know now. So it was not an institute caving in a corner trying to just provide good care, learning the latest research results from other institutes. It has always been an engagement in research and being part of the community, partnering with that community. And we are now, for sure, 100% confident that this is what made Moorfields the Moorfield it is. When we came to UAE, of course, we are going to benchmark with Moorfields UK, and we are supposed to do the same. We have started partnering logically with the authority that we report to, which is Dubai Healthcare City, and it has been a wonderful, fruitful partnership and relationship with them. Community. It is part of our vision and mission, and we want to be part of that. We take from the community in all sense. So our patients are from this community. Our employees are from this community. And we have to be part of the community. And let's be realistic. It serves on all aspects of it. The marketing aspect, the moral obligation aspect, the presence in the market as well. And one important part, when you are part of the community and you take yourself out to the community, it is the moral obligation as well. Let me explain it from this point of view. You have an expertise. I have been boasting and talking about and being proud of the comprehensive range of ophthalmology services that I do have. It is my obligation to become part or to take that information out to the community, not only through marketing and ads that will just bring patients to me. What if a patient needs a certain expertise that is not available otherwise in UAE, and to have it, I did not make myself available for them. I did not make them know that I am here and I have it. And they think that they have to take an airplane and travel all the way to UK, to US, to a different country or different place of the world. So it goes back to the fact that I was not really doing the job that I should be doing in there. So yes, okay, people come to me for what they know, but I should take myself out to them and be part of that community. And by the way, when we say community, it can be a family member of any employee working at Moorfields who needs that expertise, apart from the students who might be my employees in the future as well.
Thank you. I think that brings me to the end of all my questions. I feel like the time that you've given us this morning, the insights that you've offered us definitely are things that we're all going to be taking back to working with our students and our institutions, our academic institutions. Hassan, what would you like to leave the youth with that have been tips that have definitely been successful for you on your personal journey through your career, and also things that you believe young people are going to greatly gain in learning?
This will lead me definitely to their time of learning, the time they spend at the university. And the general advice that I can make into parts is try to make the best out of your time at the university. So you think that this is just a time of academic, purely studying, and then, well, when you start your career, you will still have to struggle. My answer to that is no, this is not completely right. During the university, during your study, you are exposed to a lot, and you are learning a lot of skills that you can bring to the workplace. And anyone interviewing a fresh graduate understands this. We don't live in the moon, we live on Earth, and we understand this. And I have seen a lot of funny quotes on social media. Dear HR, please don't ask me, for example, for 10 years experience while I'm a fresh graduate. This is not accurate. It's nice to have it, but we do understand these facts. We have our limitations, but let's go back to what do we expect from you. When I am interviewing a fresh graduate, I would like to see that that fresh graduate used their time at the university to learn some problem solving to a certain extent. Why is this justified? Of course, you have been part of projects to submit by the year. Of course, you face challenges, and then of course you try to work on problem solving skills as well. And here I'm talking about transferable skills, and you have gained that. As I mentioned before, maybe you have been a lead of the group completing that project. So I need you to demonstrate at least a certain level of leadership. And this is justified for me to ask you or to expect from you. Being so good and having the information only is not enough. Yes, you need the information, but think of it. A computer can have more information than I have, for sure. So, but I am a human being who brings the way that I learned and I gathered those informations should leave skills in me. What about organization skills, for instance? When you have been studying, this is a job. This is a difficult job than me organizing the files of employees, organizing your lessons, putting time frames for which subject are you going to finish first and start late. Yes, this is a tough job. What you are doing is a great job. It's not something easy. Do not underestimate it. Do not. This is something you can demonstrate in that interview. If I ask you, for instance, about, well, can you demonstrate organization skill, you can take me through how you succeeded and got the best mark, how you managed your course, for instance. Think of it this way. So it's not only a time of obtaining information, it's a time of having an experience, learning from it, and I'm sure at a certain stage you will appreciate the tough teachers that you thought that they were just being tough to you to make your life hard. No, these are professionals who have been in a career, who have been a professional life, and they are preparing you. They are giving you maybe tough projects, maybe just being difficult with you and being pinpointing the things. They want you to do it perfectly or as perfectly as possible. And I'm sure you have learned from those hardships or those times you have been through. Think of it this way. And trust me, it will show when you sit in an interview with someone like me, who is old, who doesn't know what's going on in the world. We learn from you. Trust me, we learn from the fresh candidates. And that's a big reason why each and every organization would love to have fresh graduates. You have fresh eyes. You still have the education, you have the latest information in the field. You can challenge the most experienced or the most senior colleague at the workplace. And believe in this and have confidence in this.
Thank you, Hassan. Thank you for your time, for these amazing insights into helping the youth prepare for a potential interview. Not only, I think what you've given us today is not only for a medical organization, but I think for any type of organization, everything that you've offered us. Some of the key things I'm taking away is be prepared for an interview, really spend time learning about the vision of the organization, what are the values, begin to practice learning how to not just say what you know, but actually demonstrate with the actions that you've taken, and dress professionally, and thinking about culture and thinking about the organization that you're applying to. And most importantly is to remember not to feel limited by being young and a fresh graduate, because as you said, having that fresh insight is something that organizations are looking for. I'm sure that everybody else has taken away some amazing things as well. And I look forward to seeing everyone at our upcoming UAE Careers Community when we bring Roger McFlarren to talk about, sorry, I just lost my breath here. He'll be talking to us about all things Culligan Middle East in December. I hope to see you all at our next UAE Careers Community. Thank you everyone for watching or for coming.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having me,
you.
Maria.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for those who attended. Thanks.
Thank you.